we hope that you will so listen to what is being said, not hear a lot of words, to a lot of ideas, because ideas and words are not the fact. Ideas and words never bring about a radical revolution, a mutation in the mind. So we're not dealing with ideas and opinions and judgment. What we are concerned is with bringing about a radical revolution in the mind. And that revolution must take place without effort. Because all effort has behind it a motive. And a revolution with a motive is not a revolution at all. A change becomes merely a modified continuity when there is a motive. But a mutation, a radical transformation of the mind can only take place when there is no motive, and when we begin to understand the psychological structure of not only of society, which is part of us, and to understand it, there must be the act of listening. Not listening to the speaker, but listening to what is actually taking place in our souls. So it is a responsibility, because we are taking a journey together into the whole psychological structure of man. Because in the understanding of that structure and the meaning of it, we can then perhaps bring about a change in society. And society, God knows, needs a total change, a total revolution. Our whole concept, action, and urges are based on pleasure. And until one understands the nature and the structure of pleasure, there will always be fear. Fear not only in our relationships with each other, but fear of all life, the totality of existence. So without understanding pleasure, there can be no freedom from fear. And we are not denying pleasure. We are not advocating puritanical way of life, a suppression of pleasure or a substitution of pleasure, or the denial of that thing that we call great satisfaction. We are examining it. And in examination, there must be freedom from opinion. Otherwise you can't examine. Pleasure is an extraordinary thing to understand. It needs a great deal of attention, a swiftness of mind, a subtle perception. So one has to understand it. And to understand it, there must be neither withholding nor denying that quality, that principle of pleasure. And that's very difficult to do because we are so heavily conditioned to accept and to function with the motive of pleasure, with gratification. Therefore, we are always limiting our total attention. We look at life in fragments. And as long as the particular fragmentation exists, one cannot possibly see the total. If one says, I must have a certain pleasure and I'm going to hold on to it at any price, then we will not comprehend or see the total pattern of pleasure. And we are concerned with seeing the totality of pleasure, what is involved in it. The pain, the frustration, the agony. The remorse, the ache of loneliness when all pleasure is denied. You know, it's like sitting on the bank of a river and watching the river waters go by. And when you so watch, there is neither the observer nor the observed. There is only a movement. But that to observe, that there must be no fear, no time, no sense of pleasure and the demand for gratification. Then in that state you can observe the whole movement of life. The movement of life which is agony, despair, the ache of meaningless existence, the routine, the boredom, the great fears as of death, which we'll talk about another day. So you can watch all this. And when you so observe, the observer is that which is observing. And then you can go beyond all this. And the mutation can only take place in the mind when time, pleasure, and fear have come to an end, and therefore there is a certain dimension of quality which cannot be approached through thought.